Bam guys, hope everyone has been doing well. I was just in camera. I know it's probably a bit off from last time because we had this camera pretty much set for the whole benchmarks on Wednesday. So the 270K seems like it's performing pretty well, still running some tests. I know all of you probably still have questions about the 270K. And for those who have questions about the ongoing issue, or not really ongoing issue, but the problem with the CPUID when it came to hardware monitor and CPUID. And the problems that were happening with them was the fact that they were hacked. And the way you would know is you would actually have something weird, almost like a side load that would happen, like a side loading program where it would be a bit noticeable because it would be in Russian. And this was the biggest complaint for those who actually used hardware monitor. So luckily that problem has been resolved. So no worries for anyone that hasn't quite downloaded the new hardware monitor, which was updated between the 9th and the 10th. Now, if you did download between those days, just make sure that you scan your system. Make sure you check if there is any actual malware that is inside of your system, and you can easily do that by downloading a malware program. So make sure to do something like this, because otherwise it can prevent of course performance issues, and worst case is actually end up destroying a lot of your hardware. So behind me I have the 270K, and we will be performing some tests on there in a bit. What's up, Amir? Yes, I've been great. I was able to run some benchmarks so far. I haven't done a lot of gaming benchmarks just quite yet. I've done Monster Hunter's Wilds. I got some of the results of that. And I also did, there was a couple other ones. Like, I did, what else did I do? I did Black Myth Wukong. And I think there was one other one. Pretty soon we're going to end up pulling up like Cyberpunk to see how the numbers are for that. What's up, Takuma? Yes, yes. It's a big thing. That this whole issue of their website being pretty much hacked. Again, the large indicators if your program was hacked, if you did end up downloading it, you would notice it because it would have some Russian in it. And a lot of people were like, "This is a little bit weird. I didn't download this, from Russia." So you would see it would end up hurting a lot of performance, and it was noticeable. But hopefully not too many people out there actually had downloaded it, and definitely hoping for the best who had these issues. So Amir says, cool, I have my 270K just installed. DM you on couples bills on settings what ASUS MCE to use. Okay, so so you have all your settings pretty much. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, let me know. Of course, you have to have that 200 plus enabled. Out of curiosity, Amir, how are you liking it compared to your 285K? Because again, two different processors. It's pretty wild that the 270K plus was outperforming the 285K. And they sent over programs, malware taught them. I would avoid their website for security. Yeah, exactly. You never know. They could be consistently being hacked. Takuma definitely brings up a good point about that. Don't just download. It's pretty wild because there's so many cases where you can feel like a website is secure, and then something like this happens, a breach, and this can affect. It can completely affect your system. And usually from websites that you trust, usually you can feel that that you're safe to download them. But this just shows that it's always good to make sure that whatever you're downloading is completely free of any type of malware or any type of virus. So it feels better, a bit smoother until I test more. Oh, okay. Only tested Resident Evil 9. So I haven't tried Resident Evil 9 quite yet. But I've been doing more of the straight benchmarks, which I'm excited to get into it with you guys, which I'll have the pretty much the PC on and share what type of benchmarks we can get, especially out of Cyberpunk 2077. That'll be a good one, I think, to test out live. Oh, you're forgetting to mention that you speak with Amir, the 270K plus. Yeah, no, I think yeah, it's pretty wild. I'm surprised that people are getting getting a little confused about that. But it seems like the majority of people are using strictly the 270K plus. It's pretty wild. Um, Again, I know the naming scheme can be a bit confusing for everyone, but when we talk about the 270K plus, we are talking about the 270K plus. What's up, Wasabi? How's everything? How's the new shift going? I'm just trying to feed up, trying to get some calories in the morning. So we got this system on, which we will be testing live here. And I gotta tell you, it's a very quiet and wonderful system. This whole Lee setup, really nice. Nice. They'll be back to the gym on Monday. How's it? I know that's got to feel good. I skipped like the gym like for like almost like I think it was like a week because of when I was sick. And man, I felt so guilty. Z-Man, what's up? Is that 180 millimeter intakes? Yes. Well, it's 170 actually. 170 millimeter intakes. Just the new naming scheme is catastrophic. I agree. It's very confusing. So simply Takuma says that the new naming scheme is catastrophic. I get it when people are confused and ask, why is Chris building an Intel 270K CPU and not the 285K? Yeah, exactly. What's up, Igor? Great to see you. Great to see all of you coming in. Oh, you know what? That's pretty odd. I just realized this, guys. Let me see something. You just had lunch chilling. Nice, nice. I think right now it's set to just checking my studio out here. Hopefully everyone's had a great week great week so far. I'm still like half asleep. Oh, it's going great so far. 411. Alright. Intel and AMD need to change their naming scheme to the 2026. Yeah, you know what? They should just really just give it, just separate it to the point where people can understand it. Just like 250K, 260K. No, don't add fives or anything. It's gonna throw everybody off. Instead of saying plus, what they could do, well, they could add plus, but they gotta consistently do it and just not keep changing up the name like this. That's why people get so confused. Intel and the AMD need to change. I'm enjoying the G16 240 hertz 5070 GPU. It's a solid rig for gaming and work, to be honest. Absolutely, I bet. Let me see. Oh, no wonder why. So I'm just gonna put this on all. So right now, it's all on channel members. And as of course the stream goes pretty much public on at 10:30. So Let me see. I am enjoying the Asus Oh, I bet. I bet it's a good GPU though. How are you enjoying it for your work progress? Um, I'm afraid that AMD making the same Intel. Yeah, it's a little scary. And as you guys know, excuse me, as you guys know, when it comes to Intel, or AMD, I should say, they're coming out with the 9950 X3D, and that's coming out in within about roughly about a little bit over a week from now. And due to the poll that we actually have put out there, we all it seems that most people have voted for the 9950 X3D too. So we will attempt to get this processor, try to get our hands on it, and hopefully we can. If we succeed, we will definitely install it for the ASRock B850 motherboard. It's going to be quite interesting, especially on that motherboard. What's up, Havy? Great to see you. Amir sends in some. Oh, yes, that's a great topic to actually bring up. Amir actually sends news on the whole new cable-free upgrade plan for existing ROG users here. Now, I'm going to share this with everybody. Let me put it into here so that way everybody can see it. I'm going to shift over the screen so you right here. So Amir sends this over. Asus introduces ROG equalizer 12 volt 2x6 cables. Asus to offer discounted upgrade for existing PSU users, because now they introduced this new 12 volt high power port, which is supposed to be it has much more of a balancing load on it. It's quite interesting. They said this is going to be quite the improvement over their predecessors. So now if you do own a ROG power supply, that you can actually get a discount on this new cable. i7 270K finally made it on Amazon Italy. It costs 375 euros. Oh, really? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Oh, really? Only the Thor 3. Oh, you have them. 17 amps. Oh, right here. I'll actually say it. And take a look at that. So you can imagine the amount of resistance that was going through it originally. We got the AMD AI 300 chips. You know, the crazy thing is simply to come out, it is going to be a 400. They are going to do AI 400. There's actually a list. I think I came out with the video a couple months ago, but there is going to be a 400 series chipset for laptops. But get this, with AMD and with the 300 series and the 400 series, some of the 300 series, for example, specifically the 380, their naming scheme can get pretty confusing. I think it's the not the 390. Is it the 389? It's a weird number. I think the 389 is supposed to be their best performer compared over to their 400 series chipset until they come out with another best performer. Isn't that weird? 17 amps on the cable. That makes sense. So that's a great question, Amir. I've been really debating on this about going to Computex, and a lot of people are wondering if I'm going or not. More than likely this year, I'm not going to go to Computex. I really wanted to. I wanted to make this happen, but because of our dog here, we want to make sure that we spend as much time as we can as he's getting older, because we just don't want him to be end up being watched by somebody else, especially at his older age. So we decided to spend more time with him until, of course, the time comes. So 345 euros for on Amazon Germany. Really? Yes, the 360, yeah. 369HX processor for laptops. Thank you for understanding, Amir. I appreciate everyone who was looking forward to that coverage. I would love to cover it. Would be great. But hopefully by next year, we can do something. We'll try to make sure to make both trips of CES and Computex here. The 37069HX was a joke. You know what the crazy thing is? It's just like they consistently make it confusing when it comes to their processors here. Right? So the ROG equalizer will ship bundled with the 2026 ASUS ROG Thor 3 and the ROG Strix Platinum power supplies. Wasabi says, seems like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and the rest of the others started investing on AI processors to reduce the dependencies from NVIDIA. Yeah. Guess who will come back? Oh, congratulations, Flapjack, on building your first PC. Did you enjoy it? It was a lot of fun, right? And to the drivers, I need to, before I turn it on, we are a bit scared to turn it on. I have the ROG PSU, funny enough, and the new cable sounds great. I will have to look into it. It's definitely worth it. I will definitely pull some questions. In fact, hopefully, I think I may be speaking to ASUS next week. If I'm speaking to them next week, I'm going to reach out about the ROG Thor 3 and see what they have to say about it. So I know there's a lot of people that are curious about it, would love to have it, and would be great to actually measure it out to see how this is going to turn out. Those parts with the cables and other stuff are getting out of hand. You know, well, it almost makes you wonder if they finally figured out the 12-volt high power port, or they always knew. It's almost like they've released these new GPUs so quickly that it's hard for a lot of these companies to keep up. So they never really truly had the chance to put 100% focus on making better cables. And hopefully now they have that opportunity to have that chance to give better balance load when it comes to these cables, because that was always the issue. It was either the resistance or because the cable wasn't pushing out the correct voltages out of the cable, which would cause high resistance. Either one, if you have high resistance to a cable, that's going to melt it regardless of anything, because high resistance is not good for any type of electronic. So if you have that, it's going to be catastrophic to where it can actually burn out the cable and, of course, cause even fires. So hopefully this is resolved. I was originally thinking when it came to balance load, I was hoping that they would come out with something a bit more similar to having a dual 12-volt high power ports to kind of give it more equality across the equation. But if this resolves the issue, if ASUS figures this out, then you can expect other companies to pretty much follow suit. But of course, when it comes to ASUS, they always have help from Seasonic, which is a great company when it comes to power supplies. So ASUS making the ROG Astro RTX 5090 look at the 12 volt. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Because Takuma brings that up about the whole. Remember the Matrix too, even like where they had the option to where you didn't have to use the PCI Express. Their, what do you call that? Their BTF connection, pretty much, for the ROG Matrix. But then when you went to go attempt to plug in the 12-volt high power port, it wasn't quite even to plug it in. But most people were able to, luckily, be able to plug it in. Some people were having issues. And they use FSP. Yes, FSP is a good company too. Another one that's actually pretty underrated is Superflower. Superflower is actually pretty good too, from what I know, and that's what MSI uses is Superflower, and they were one of the first ones to end up using it for when it comes to alerting you to let you know exactly if the 12-volt high power port's running, how do I say, lone wolf, and starts to give you warning signals to let you know, like, hey, this is getting too hot. It's going to, your PC will shut down within about 60 seconds. Almost like a NASA launch. So, Flapjack, feel free to share in your specs. We'd love to know what, share with everyone your specs so I can share with them on your first PC build. Big congratulations to Flapjack for his PC build. Uh, I know it can be pretty scary at first, but I'm glad you succeeded, and I'm sure you had a lot of fun doing so. Let me see. Just got something here. And let me go down here. Oh, I can't. Thought I could do it right here. But I guess I could only do it when I'm off. That's weird. All right, I'll try that later. But on the Matrix, they had issues with, yes, but that was only the first of the series. Mines could work. Also used a full 800 watts. You need the BTF. Oh, really? That's pretty wild. That had to be something. How is it performing? Did you actually start like benching it and everything, Takuma? Out of curiosity, how's your thoughts about the Matrix compared to all the two other 5090s, compared to the Astral and Gigabyte Source Master? Um, let's go back here. It should have it right here. Here it is. So this is what it exactly looked like. It had a thing called crypt based DLL. Hmm. There we go. And you had three suspicious. Of course, CPUZ wasn't suspicious. It's that DLL file. And let me see if they actually show it, where it says it in German, not German. Sorry, in Russian. But apparently, they claim that their site's good, that there's no issues going on. It makes you wonder how much people were actually compromised. Oh, okay, okay. That makes more sense. So you wanted to do with the 9850X 3D. That's interesting. You have, and the X870E, are you doing the Asus ROG Hero? And that's HW Info's official statement there. There you go. What's up? What's up, Geo Pop? Great to see you. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So that's their official statement there. Almost done this year, so you won't have to hear so much crazy crunchiness. But investigations are still ongoing, but it appears that the secondary feature, basically a side app, which we were talking about, was compromised for approximately 6 hours between April 9th and April 10th, causing the main website to randomly display malicious links. Our signed original files were not compromised, but the breach was found and since has been fixed. And once again, it was under a DLL file to where people would download it and they would notice some weird things pop up, like some Russian. It makes sense, Takuma. Again, you don't want to spend all your money in one place. But I'm glad that you have it pretty much ready to go. Excited for your training models here. Is it a good time to buy RAM? Honestly, yes. Decent time to buy RAM. It's not such a great time to purchase SSDs currently. That's what I would say. And Flapjack says, thank you. It was straightforward. It's the Heaven. Oh, that's awesome. Love that AIO. It's really unique, I gotta say. The 5080 Astral 9850X3D, RAM 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance 6000 megahertz CL36 TYRX panoramic 360 performance. Replace the rear fan with the TYRX 140 to match. And then it's on a MSI Carbon X870E motherboard. And he also has the LG GX9. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, man. You hooked yourself up. That's one way of rewarding yourself. Congratulations, Flapjack. Big round of applause. Yes, so using PS5 was good, but looking now you probably laugh at your PS. You probably won't touch it, to be honest, anymore. It's mostly for plugging LMU. Oh yeah, you're gonna take full advantage of that now for sure. So Geek Hyopo says malware or data breach, yes, and this has to do more with CPU Z, and if you use hardware monitor, their website was breached between April 9th and April 10th, which is, it looks something like this. If you have this program, it looks like CPUID. Typically, most people download it to get information about their CPU and to see if it's really the proper requirements that were supposed to be with the hardware. So all storage is overpriced. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, hear out Waffle Skater. Thanks, and big shout out to Waffle Skater for reminding me about this issue. Gen 5 SSD is over. Yes, it's sad. How many RTX 5090s do you? I only have one 5090 right now. Antivirus program, and unfortunately not. It did not pick up on it. Well, you know what the problem is? I'll explain in just a second. Let me just open up the public side of it. And we're about to push this out completely. Just give me a second, guys. There we go. Beautiful. So the biggest problem is that when people download something like CPUID on hardware monitor, it's a program that most people trust. Usually you don't have to worry about using antivirus scans or any type of malware scan, but some actually do it automatically. Now, some people actually had picked it up. For example, Malwarebytes is pretty decent. It's a very decent malware scanner. You can get it pretty much free, and it'll scan whatever you download. Once you scan it, it'll inform you like, hey, this app right here or this file specifically does not look any good, and it will automatically remove it. Now, some people will rely more on Windows Defender. Nothing wrong with Windows Defender, works great, but not everyone's going to scan the files that they download. So what they originally intended for this download was that they had the integrity of the actual program was not affected, but was more so the DLL file that actually came with hardware monitor. So if you downloaded it and it touched that DLL file, you would have an indication because it would be in Russian, and then you would be infected with the malware. So, okay, so let me open this up so you guys can see each other. We're open to the public now. So all antivirus, let me see. Man, I was close, only 11 off. There we go. Let me get you guys up and running here. Beautiful. Uh, right now I'm just getting our social stream up so we could do some live polling. There we go. And oh yeah, that made me, I gotta double check this real quick, guys. I think I did it. Yeah, we're good. We are golden. Yeah, like miso soup. So I have a question, Chris. It's Bitdefender enough, or do I need antivirus software? Bitdefender can certainly work great enough. The most important thing I stress about when you download anything off the internet now, especially because at a sensitive time like now, you never know what can be actually infected. So even though you download from a trusted website, even if it's from Microsoft themselves, you want to make sure to scan the files. Now, the biggest problem when it comes to antiviruses is the fact that it can show that it'll bring a false flag at times, a false red flag. Windows Defender can work great. It's actually a decent antivirus because most people don't end up touching like any other software such as Norton Antivirus or Kaspersky or any of the other antiviruses. But Windows Defender can work great, but you have to learn from false positives to actual real red flags. And if you see a file like that, and I'll show you the exact file, it looks something like this. Windows, yes, Windows Defender is decent. It's going to look a bit more like this. This was how it looked onto the system if you found it. So the integrity of most of the files, like CPUID README, 2.19 English zip, no, that's very usual. And of course, you have the execution files by the CPUID, whether you have the 64 bits or if you have 32-bit. Oh, let me grab that so you guys can see it a bit better. And then you also have what was the questionable files, which is over here. You see as it says malicious. Now, crypt-based DLL, that sounds obviously like a virus. Not a virus, but obviously like some sort of malware. So if you see something like that, then you can certainly identify it as something more of a something that could be a bit more problematic. So I've seen files like that so far. Yeah, so again, like if you see something like this, just put it into either the vault or you can get rid of the file. Now, obviously, if the and once you do something like that, of course, you won't have that issue. It's only when you actually open up the file then it could cause problems. So my PC came with 2 years of Advanced Ultimate. So many, really, on the paid version, it actually has ads. Now, let me tell you, that's how you know a lot of these virus scanning companies are hurting because it's not as prevalent as it used to be. Sure, there is malware and viruses out there, but something like this is a good reminder, especially in today's world, that it's always good to check the files that you download. Make sure that they're legit. Now, of course, if you download from any sketchy websites, just be wary. I gotta say, be wary of what you download before you actually open up the file into your PC. So Avast is junky. Also, Kaspersky and Avira antivirus. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it's funny. I always forget about Avast. That always ends up like on the back burner. But man, like, have they like really completely went out? Let me see. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So I checked in when I opened my file. Yes, you'll see it because it's under like a zip file, and usually when it's a zip file, it'll be bundled in. You can extract it, or you can actually scan the zip file itself, and then you'll be able to identify if the virus or the malware is actually in there. Now, somebody actually brought up a great point into Discord. Now, the great point is that if you do run into an issue, you accidentally open it, you thank you thank you for the super chat. And Malware Bytes is definitely the way to go. It's funny that you brought it up. I highly recommend Malware Bytes when it comes to look for malware. So, well, duh, you didn't pay for the ad-free version, which is yeah, the ad-free bundle, which is like $200 more. Ads of their own product always just, yeah, that's sad. That's just sad. They're just trying to keep you locked in. But Charitar brings up a good point. Download Malwarebytes. It's one of the best malware removers when it comes to your PC. Yeah, it's been amazing. Great piece of software. Windows Defender is not good enough, and we'll find out in due time. Let's hope it is. It's pretty annoying as it is to get some sort of virus protection. Now, a lot of the motherboards that you do end up purchasing, or any type of let's say component PC hardware, usually it'll contain some sort of antivirus that'll come with just for you to get started and keep them. For example, you'll see Norton bundled with a lot of these motherboards, and they'll also contain they'll give you like the gamers package, they call it. But as you know, sometimes it can be pretty annoying at times when you're opening up games and you're unable to open up a game because it detects, like, for example, anti-cheat, or it's going to raise red flags because of, like, say, de novo or something, and then it could get pretty annoying. Then you turn off your shield like for 10 or 15 minutes. But it needs to, I feel like when it comes to antiviruses, it certainly needs to evolve just quite a bit here. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people like Norton. John McAfee, yeah, I know, especially because you know what's funny, when he did say this, he did mention that he was like, he practically said that he's not going to kill himself, and then all of a sudden that happened. So I used Bitdefender and never looked back since. And since it was Windows 10, I've never had problems again before I used Norton Advanced, Mac Free, and I always got viruses. Yeah, and sometimes it feels worse because you get bombarded, like the malware itself, just like Avast that was mentioned a bit earlier, feels like malware because all you get is ads from Avast. So, thoughts on the new G18 300 Hz laptops for the 5080? I think they're decent. I think they're very decent laptops. Large screen if you are into that. Of course, they do have the 285. Yes. If you're into getting a laptop, like a gaming laptop, it's a good way to go. But just be aware that if you do go with a gaming laptop, that for you to fully be immersed into gaming on a laptop, you have to be plugged in. Otherwise, it's just not going to be fun playing battery powered. It can happen, you can play it, but you're not going to get much life because just how much draw you get from the GPU itself. So if you get a gaming laptop, you will more than likely end up keeping it plugged in here. So yeah, I know. Uh, at least you got your laptop though. You're still loving it, right? Like how do you feel about your laptop? MSI has Norton on the update list in MSI's own guide video. They don't even select. Yeah, I know that's how annoyed they are. They're like, yeah, sure. They probably had a deal with MSI, and they said, yeah, sure, we'll bundle you into our motherboard here, but we'll add you in for an options if they want to download you, sure. Yeah, I always notice my laptop's plugged in. As I said, you said, sorry, misclick. I am enjoying it. Great laptop and press, to be honest. Oh, great. I'm glad that you are enjoying it. I laugh when somebody's used advanced antivirus and download the new version, and the old version said it was. Oh, really? No, I can believe that actually happening. That's a very realistic take. So when you download, Malware Bytes is definitely one of my go-tos for sure. Malware Bytes is definitely the top of the list. Kapasky is really good too. I like Kapasky. Make a docking station for it, and then make plugs into a bigger monitor and a free keyboard and mouse, and game there at home. Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. Most people end up doing that. They'll end up using it more of a docking station than anything when it comes to gaming with their laptops here. So if anybody has downloaded it or uses CPUZ or uses hardware monitor, make sure to check that has this crypt-based DLL. If it does have this crypt-based DLL, that is the file that is problematic. Now, this is only if you downloaded it between the 9th and the 10th, not if you updated it through the package, because if you updated it through the package without the actual zip file, more than likely you're okay. This is for those who happen to end up downloading the zip file from the actual website. So, Igor says XD interactive fair points. 4K 32-inch gaming monitor will work perfect. Absolutely. Definitely a great monitor to go for. Have you thought about going OLED? Now, as we always love to talk about OLED, that's the biggest thing here. That and RGB stripe monitors are big too. Mr. Rainbow, great to see you. Great to see you, Mr. Rainbow. How's everything? And pretty soon we'll swap over to the Intel 270K. We'll run some benchmarks. We'll probably open up something like Tomb Raider, set the settings on that, and see what we pull out of it. Or Cyberpunk. I'll throw up a poll out there for everybody who wants to see this benchmark. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it seems like it's gotten a lot more quiet. I'm glad that things are certainly improving. These days, a good OLED monitor is worth more than yeah, honestly it is. I even thought about on the testing rig to just go OLED 4K, because that's going to end up being more the monitor people use is 4K. Or I have a video card. It is a 5060. 5060. Yeah, I think everybody knows my thoughts about the 5060 here. 5060 is not a great card. I hate to break it to you. It's not a awesome card. And might go OLED. September spent a lot of money revamp my apartment to be paid. Yeah. Oh man, I think that's a lot of us. You'll spend like once you see that nice new monitor where it's OLED, and then you'll want to spend the money on it. 5068. So I'm assuming you modded it to 18 gigabytes. I might sound crazy, but I switched from 1080p 32-inch VA monitor to 27-inch. Well, it's still a big difference though. Going from VA over to IPS is a large difference. I'll tell you what, if you got OLED, and you really sit it next to it, I'm telling you, it's like night and day. You will notice a complete difference. It's very noticeable. It's one of those like major upgrades. You know, like how when you get a GPU, people are like, oh, you don't really see that much of a difference in upgrade. Once you hook it up to an OLED screen, you can see how different it looks. I use the 3060 for just video encoding and sometimes to run FrameGen with lossless. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. The RTX 5060 is not good, but the RTX 50, yeah, 5060 Ti is like just cutting it. If you want to game on like It's good if you want to game like on 1080p. If you're really pushing, like say, like you're trying to push on a 1440p monitor, you can, but you're going to run into issues on certain games. But 5070, exactly, Igor is correct. 5070 Ti is certainly the sweet spot. So I have the Inno 3D GeForce RTX 5060 Ti 18. What? I cap at 12 gigabytes a lot. So I'm gonna post up the poll. XCR, it's part of the extreme. You can see what I've been there. It's pretty funny, right? So I'm gonna put out a poll for everybody out here, and the poll is going to be on what type of benchmark we should run on the 270K. Now, let's see. I'll put out the poll, and it's going to be based on what everybody wants to see. Now, you can put, I'll put multiple choice. Which benchmark would you like to see on 270K plus? So it's going to be Black Myth, Wukong, Cyberpunk 2077, Tomb Raider, and of course, if you want to see 3D Mark. Okay, so I'm going to open up the poll here. You can feel free to put your vote in. You put 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now, Celeron CPU says, should I get the 9900 X3D or the 7950 X3D? That's a good option. Now, depending on what you are looking for, why is it not popping up on this side? Now, depending on the type of options, if you choose the 7950 X3D, that's better if you are looking for more of, say, if you're more into content creation and also into gaming as well, streaming, that sort of thing. 9900 X3D is a great option too, but at that point you might as well just get the 9850 X3D if anything, or even 9800 X3D if you're mostly focused on more gaming side of task. So we got a mix. We got Black Myth Wukong. We got 3D Mark. Nice. So Tomb Raider just doesn't push things hard enough, and Cyberpunk is my gold standard benchmark. Yeah, that's what I figured. It all depends on what people would love to see. But I see a lot of, I think, but so far, most people are going to Black Myth Wukong from what it seems like. And we'll get the system pretty much up and running here. We'll turn this on. And if you're wondering what I'm turning on back there, that's the 270K plus that we just built. And we're going to run test on it to see how well it runs here. Okay, so far it seems like most... Yeah, Borderlands 4. Does Borderlands 4 actually have a benchmark tool in it? Out of curiosity? Let's see. So far, I'm seeing a lot of Black Myth. A lot of Black Myth over there. There we go. Cyberpunk goes through the scenes with a lot of reflections. That's why I don't like it. Okay, that makes sense. So it seems like more than likely we're going to end up with Black Myth Wukong, which will end up starting up. I'll share the other side with you guys. We're going to go into here, and it seems that we pretty much concluded that poll. All right. So we're going to open this up. As soon as that opens up, all right. Working on connecting Black Myth Wukong down, and then the game crashes. Hopefully not. Yeah, I agree. Black Myth Wukong's a great one to go with. Right now, let's see. Only problem is trying to get this to show up. Let me see here. Huh. You know, it's pretty odd, guys. I gotta say, when I'm trying to add Black Myth Wukong to the list here. Oh wait, I just realized that when I add Black Myth Wukong to the list here, it won't allow it. Let me see. But let me see what I could do here. There we go. Perfect. Now we got it. We got it, guys. We got it. We're good to go. Hear the sound? I'm glad you guys can hear the sound for it. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll start beginning the benchmark. And of course, we got to have the overlay here. Oh, wait. That's not on. There we go. Let's see. Perfect. You guys can see the overlay, right? I know on the vertical side it's probably a bit harder to see. Nice and crispy audio. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to start benchmarking it. Just to show you what we have on the settings here, what we will have is that we're going to have, let's go to the graphics side. We got super resolution at 75, DLSS, frame generation on, and we also do have full ray tracing on, full ray tracing level at very high, and the graphic preset is at very high, which is going to be pretty much the most that you can set it on. Now, my question is, does everybody want to see it with frame generation or without frame generation? If you guys want to see it with frame generation, let me know. So are you using DLDSR on no, actually not. What I'm just using OBS. So both frame generation and without frame generation. Okay, so that sounds good. Now, if you don't like this hardware monitor screen here, I can easily hide it for you guys because if you don't want to see the stats, if you do, let me know. I'll leave it up. If you don't want to see the stats, I'll go ahead and put it on. So, and also frame generation without for all people. Makes sense. Ooh, this app got got my sensor going. Really nice, wonderful. So, so what do you guys say? Okay. So do you guys want hardware monitor up? If you guys do, let me know. I'll put up a poll for you guys if that's a bit better. So let me see. I'll put up a poll. Let's see. There we go. So hardware monitor on. You can vote yes or no. And the poll is coming up, guys. So if you guys want hardware monitor, you can vote yes or no. Let me know, and we will go ahead and put the vote into it. And if you don't, we can run the game without hardware, without the hardware monitor. You'll still have the overlay. You'll still have the overlay, guys. Now I got the, okay, so the Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Okay, that's a good choice. Let me know, guys. Let me know how you feel. Do you want hardware monitor on? Yes or no? You just simply vote by 1 or 2. And let me bring this over for you guys while you figure that out. Okay. So I'm talking about the NVIDIA Deep Learning Dynamic Super Resolution. Not sure what you mentioned. Oh, okay, okay. No, I didn't. I still don't have it, but yeah, I don't have it. For first person, I have to download it though. I still got to download it. What's up, Waffle Skater? uh, never using frame gem for Twitch gaming. The latency. Yeah, yeah. I agree. No, I agree. No need to use it. Who is it? Let me see. Did somebody pop up Waffle Skater? I didn't see it. On my end, at least. Mouse reaction without Epic on it. It's. Oh, is there a bot? For some reason, it did not pop up on my end. Let me go into. Let me actually go check it out real quick. I'll check. Oh, that one? Yeah. I took care of it. Quarter. You know what's weird? I gotta show you. It's it actually didn't pop up on my end there. Corduroy. Do you guys see Corduroy on Twitch, guys? Let me know. Because I just checked the Twitch chat. I don't see him on there. Well, yeah, I got him. I actually I already hit him with the manhammer. No worries, Waffle Skater. He's done. He's gone. My bad. I was assuming you were using the NVIDIA graphics card. Um, yeah, yeah. No. I'm not actually that one I'm not using. But I am using a 5070 Ti, of course, but I'm not using it NVIDIA software pretty much in there. Some people which to get native render benchmark like DLSS. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm going to run both. I'll run frame generation and without frame generation just to give you an idea of how it looks like. And we'll leave, it seems like most people want hardware monitor on, so we'll leave that actually on. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and start testing it. Now, the first test is going to be, since it's a very mixed crowd of wanting frame generation on or off, we'll leave it on at first, and we're going to turn it off right afterwards to see what type of number that we get here. So let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to hit benchmark, and then we're going to run another test right afterwards without frame generation. Okay, so I'll turn off the poll. It seems that the minds have been made here. There we go. Hopefully it looks wonderful. Now, Yeah, uh, yeah, that's what I thought too. Let me. Maybe it's because maybe because I used pretty much like a different program to do it. But this is Blackmyth Wukong running on a 270K plus with a gigabyte RTX 5070 Ti gaming overclock card. It might look like it's stuttering a lot, but that's because it's has probably a little bit of lag, I'm assuming. Or it could just be that frame generation. Probably just frame generation. Just wasn't sure. No, I appreciate it. Always appreciate you, Waffle Skater. I did manage to get them. In fact, you make me want to check on the Twitch side too. Like go into Twitch and actually ban them on there. Let me try. How's that? There you go. Yeah, it was one of those. Not liking it, huh? There we go. So with frame generation, it's pulling about... Now this is on 1440. It has about... I know this is in the way, so I'll go hide this real quick so you guys can see it. So you have 82 frames per second. And it runs at 95 frames per second. At the minimum, it's claiming about 69 frames. And this is with frame generation. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to also run it without frame generation. And see how different it looks. Just open my phone. Yeah, it's not here. It just was on my PC screen. Yeah, probably was that. Because I noticed on this end, it did the same thing. But bad stutters with 50%. Yeah. Well, let's see how different it reacts without the frame generation. How's that sound? So we'll turn this back on. And let me know if it's like too loud, guys. I'll adjust the sound. Then we're going to turn off frame generation. Then we're going to run the benchmark. Okay. Now let's see how it runs. Oh, it's running with DLS. Yeah, they're both running on DLSS. And now it's running without frame generation. You know what's funny? I had to actually modify this the bracket a little bit for this PC because it would kind of sit under the fan a little bit. I'm just comparing it to the benchmark to the actual stream. On the stream, it definitely looks more choppy for some reason. How can you bench test on Cyberpunk? Do you need to buy the game? Yes! You have to buy the game to benchmark Cyberpunk. And then from there you can adjust it. Yeah, just like in the pretty much in the graphics setting. Buy not free? Well, that you would have to talk to. You have to talk to Project Red. But I do like the games that offer the free benchmarks just to see if your PC can handle it. Exactly. Cinebench is really good. You were running Cinebench on Wednesday, in fact. This past Wednesday, we were running Cinebench to see the numbers of the 270K plus. Yeah, there's quite a few. There's you have Cinebench, you have 3D Mark. Well, yeah, 3D Mark's demo. Okay, so we got the numbers back for this. Okay, so it runs an average of 49 frames, and then you get about. Now remember, this is all maximum settings pretty much on a RTX 5070 Ti, and also on a 270K plus. So you have full on ray tracing, and everything is set to max here. And this is on a 1440p display, which is an ultra wide monitor, not a 2560, not a WVGA type of monitor. Let me see. But these are the numbers that we get. And then next, what we'll do is we'll run tests on something like 3D Mark, so you guys can take a look at it. And how is it performing without DLSS? That's a good question. We'll try it. Let me see. We'll go here, settings, graphics. No, it looks like it has to run with DLSS off. And also full ray tracing, we can actually turn that pretty much off if you guys are curious about that. We just gotta apply the graphics and reset it. Alright, so we're gonna reset the game. Let's see. Okay. Once we reset it, we'll be able to test it. I still want to see the benchmark difference with. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. We can. You want to do that with You want to do that with Black Myth Wukong, right? What power setting are you using in the BIOS for the CPU, or are you using Intel's default power profile? So the power setting I'm using is just two simple settings that I just adjusted, which is it has XMP on and it has the Intel 200S boost. That's it. Nothing too crazy. This is pretty much standard. Not trying to. Pretty much a standard test comparing it to other default profiles, so to say. So now I want to do a test on my 5060 Ti. Go ahead, run the test. See how you like it. And let me get hardware monitor up here. There you go, guys. And this is without ray tracing, guys. This is just straight up just with ray tracing off and frame generation off. And pretty much the LSS has to be off at that point. The 270K is faster in 1080p. I don't think it's any faster in anything else other than the 285K. 285. If it is, I'll be... Yeah. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Why can't I get this thing to come up? Seems like it's not working correctly on that side. So let me see if I can... I apologize for those who are chatting in the vertical stream side. It seems that for some reason it's not connecting correctly to you guys. So I'm gonna reload all. There we go. Hopefully that worked. So the 285 can overclock more. I'm sure you can get more wind. Just take a look. I'm curious. I don't understand why the 5070 Ti isn't maxing out. It should be because it is the weakest link. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We will certainly find out. Now, without ray tracing, it's certainly going to be a much larger difference. It's running about like 73%. And the Intel processor is running about 21%. And also a big difference too is also the RAM kits. The RAM kits running on L38 on 6000 megahertz. So this could also be a big factor on performance. But also we'll be testing different RAM kits in this as well. Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely not the 270. Yeah, it's not that. It seems that... Let me see. It seems that it doesn't really have to push that hard, really, the GPU on it. But we'll find out like once we start benching it on other games here. Because right now it's running at about 70 FPS. Which, let me share with you guys here. It's running about 70 FPS. Maybe I put it on this side. Maybe it'll be better so you guys can see it. So I'll put it right there. So it's running about 70 FPS. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way of the chat. There we go. Right there. How's that? Shrink it down some. Or is that too small, guys? That's probably too tiny. But yeah, running at about 70 FPS, I'll leave it over to where it's at. On average. And right now, the maximum pulled is 81 frames, and then we'll swap it over to the next one. We'll run it, you know, super res is set to 75. Yes. Needs to be 100. There you go. Okay. Let's try it. So Sweeney wants to see it run at 100% at super res. This current setting exceeds the recommended settings and may lead to performance issues. Let's give it a shot anyway, right, guys? Let's see. Let's just crank it up and let's do it. And we'll find out. Now we're pushing it a little bit harder and see the type of numbers that we get out of it. It barely handles at 75. This is going to be funny. What's up, Alex? put it on. Well, super res to 100. I know it's not, but it's going to be funny. Right now it's running on 3440 by 1440. Anything below 60 FPS is failure, in my opinion. I agree. Do you guys want me to cancel this test and continue on? That 80, it's the same, lower, or worse. It should be on full screen already. I'll double check you guys. So right now it's like pushing around like 49, 52, roughly. About like 49 to 52. So Alex says, what do you think of the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte from Zotac? It has a fire. I guess get it. You're gaming on a 1080p to 1440, I'm assuming, Alex. Either way, yeah, that's not too bad. I'm sure the chat will mention, say something about this. 80% GPU, yes. Yeah, 80%. You know what it was, Hidden Bull? Did you get to see the beginning part? What the hell is up with this whole overlay? It's not working correctly. But Hidden Bull says that 80% GPU, 15% CPU. What's holding it back? Well, I think partially is because I'm also streaming it, but we'll find out. So right now, they want it to run super resolution at 100%, and obviously that caused a bit more of an issue. So we're gonna look into this a little bit more here. So the eyes can watch up to 25, performing 180 if you can see the lag. Though at 80 for yeah, there you go. So we're gonna go to the settings right here. We're going to the benchmark graphics. So obviously this is too high here. So we'll bring that back to 75. Now DLSS is on. Frame generation is off. Now they do have some. Let's see the resolution side. We're gonna apply that display. Now the display, it's borderless. Displays at HDR, aspect automatic. VSync is off. Frame rate cap is off. And motion blur is strong. So it looks like it's mostly all the correct settings here. Now let's try this. I'm just curious to see what they would recommend and see if it changes any. It looks mostly the same for the most part. Full ray tracing is off. We'll just apply that display. Yep. For the most part, it seems like everything's the same. What I'm curious about, if it's just the game itself, and then we'll go ahead and test it into something like, we'll test it into maybe, what's the next game we should test? Because we got a few. We could put it onto 3D Mark if you guys are a bit curious about it. Let's see. The eyes can watch up to, so that's, let me see. You need to look that up again. That 30 FPS is BS. There is no limit to what the. Oh, I want to argue at that point, XD, but I 100% agree. I agree with you. It's like real life, you know. Cold bottleneck. Okay. Motion blur off is one of the votes here when it comes to seeing here. All right, so let's see. Hang on, guys. Let me try to reset this social stream real quick. Because I'm trying to get everyone's in par with each other, so just give it a minute. Just resetting it. There we go. That should do it. Okay, so immersion blur always off. I wish they would remove the post-processing from all games. I will go to a new country as an exchange student. I don't know what I will do with my desktop gaming PC. Hard to carry. Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit tough. Okay, sure. Let's do 3D Mark. So I have a couple downloaded off of 3D Mark. Oh. And what we will do, we'll boot this up, and as soon as this does, you let me know. I'm going to put up a poll on which type of I'm going to put up a poll on which 3D Mark tests we should do. We got Time Spy, we also have Steel Nomad, and we also have their newer test. I think it's called Raceway, which is their newer test. We could give a shot on that too if you'd like. And let me know which one you want to go with. So as this loads up here, I'll put up that poll for you guys, and you guys can definitely vote in. So it looks like we got the chat pretty much all blended in together here. Now, in order to do the vote, it's really simple. You just vote 1, 2, or 3. So I'm going to put up the poll on which test that you would like to see here. Now then, it's hard to say if the test will be somewhat effective because of me streaming with OBS here. So I will run a separate test after to see what it will also say. But we'll give it a shot. I'm going to ask a multiple choice question. Again, you just simply just put one, 1, 2, or 3. So the question is Raceway, which is their newest test. We also have Steel Nomad and Time Spy Extreme. So feel free to put your votes in as I will enable it. You let me know on which one you would like to see, and we'll run that test. So sorry we can't go up to. Let's see. You can also run the game at higher res if you have more headroom. That's true. Okay, so Raceway. So far we got Raceway. I would like to see how many kill it. It's getting a random X mining protocol, but that's what. Yeah. That would be tough to show. So far, we have Raceway as part of the vote here. We have Raceway, we got Steel Nomad, and we also have Time Spy Extreme. Now, Time Spy Extreme is known for DirectX 12. Steel Nomad is good for the pretty much a ray tracing side, but now the Speedway is more of a challenge because it's Speedway, not Raceway. But Raceway is pretty much the top of the line ray tracing test that there is when it comes to 3D Mark. So the DDR5 that is installed in this PC is the XPG Lancer Pro, which is based on 6,000 megahertz up to 38 a latency of 38. So you can just buy another PC setup when you feel like it, but you had to use your tool cabinet as the table. Yes, pretty much. It's my bench. It's like my bench table. That's right, Rugal. You know what? The funny thing is, I did have another desk, but I just got in the room. It's like this room is packed as it is. So that's the sweet spot. You have DDR5 6000 CL32. Okay, so you must have Crucials, I'm assuming. So far, we got Raceway here, which is practically Speedway. We got DirectX 12. We got Time Spy Extreme voted on. So I just ordered. I'm hoping I will play punk rock music when I stream. I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be pretty dope. Definitely go for it. I don't know anything about 3D. 3D Mark is a synthetic benchmark test. Pretty much like almost like a gaming benchmark test, but this also pushes it a little bit harder, but it gives you a score. Yes, yes, Expo is on. Expo is 100% on. But again, the latency is a bit slower though. It's CL38, so it's definitely not the fastest out there. Okay, so far we got the votes. We got a tie, so it's between Speedway and Time Spy Extreme. So it's between those two. So again, in order for you to cast your vote, you just simply put 1, 2, or 3. So we need a tiebreaker here. Got to run both. Yes. Yeah, we will definitely run both here. Now 38 is what I have. I like it. There you go. Ryzen. Okay. So I think we'll go and conclude their short test. Sort of. I think Raceway is pretty short. Well, you know what? So what we'll do is we're going to run Raceway first, and then we'll run sometimes by Extreme next. We'll put Steel Nomad last then. How's that sound? So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go run Speedway first, and then we'll do Time Spy right after. And let me just make sure I get this properly connected. The 3D Mark. So that's how it looks like. I gotta drag the window here, and once we'll get started here, hopefully it opens right up into the test. Because the only thing I don't like when using OBS to do this is that it will end up that I will have to end up going back into OBS to switch it to the window that opens. Yes, very comprehensive. Agreed. One thing I've noticed I also like yes, Passmark's a great one too. That was another one I didn't get the download just quite yet, but it's I do have it. I do have Passmark as well. Another thing I'm going to run tests, especially for you creators out there that's interested in getting something like the 270K, is that it's also good to run what's Budget Bench. Budget Bench is really good to run on Adobe. And then you get a decent idea of how that looks as well when it comes to the system. So it's just loading up here. It takes a little bit of time. It's just collecting my system's information now. And as soon as it does that, then I'll get into the whole testing phase here. I like how it says Legion right there on the side of it. And of course, anytime you guys let me know on if you want that whole hardware monitor screen to disappear, I can also do that too as well. But I gotta say, like, I think it's quite interesting. A lot of people voted for the 9950X 3D. Yeah, like that exactly. That's right, Takuma. Like the 9950X 3D. And it's taking a little bit. The 9950X 3D2, it will be the one going into the ASRock B850 motherboard here. Yeah, it was. That was back when the Legion 2, when the Legion 2 dropped with the Legion 2 Go. Be careful downloading anything, LOL. Don't load anything on your computer that has saved passwords. Yes. Like anything that I pretty much load up onto pretty much this test rig here has nothing loaded. But Hidden Pool brings up a good point for anyone that is concerned about the whole issue about like the whole CPUID phase with downloading their programs, whether it's hardware monitor or anything else. You have to be careful that you don't have anything else that is packaged in, because that was the big problem. There was it wasn't a large zip file, it was like 5 files in there. but I came with pretty much everything that that was standard. It was just one extra file that was in there that ended up being the pretty much an anomaly, the one that wasn't any good. So make sure to scan your files, even if it's from a trusted website like CPUID. But that was a big issue. And a good point too is if you do run into that type of issue, there's always a way that you can end up restoring it. Make sure to put 2FA. Yes, that's a big thing. Make sure, absolutely, the two-factor authentication is very important. So Ryan Jr. says, "Is this a good PC? NSX gaming PC? Is that the brand?" AMD 5, Ryzen 5 5000G, 16 gig, or RGB, or RX 580 2048. It sounds a bit dated. Sounds a bit dated. And so you have all those specifications with it. I doubt it's G5. I'm pretty sure. Oh, G5, of course, on an RX 580. I mean, it was decent at the time when it was released. The 5600G though, that processor will definitely hold back your PCI Express lanes. Just to let you know. It's so stupid that big companies like Microsoft saying you hate passwords, make a key password for all. You know what's crazy? I don't know if you guys noticed that, but when it came to like a lot of their Office software, they have their own authenticator. It doesn't let you just use any other authenticator. You would think it would give you that option. Man, this is taking a while actually. I wonder why. I wonder if it's because it's running OBS at the same time. Or is it running the test? No, it's not. That's so weird. I'm going to try to restart it real quick. Because it doesn't seem like it's opening. Let's try it again. Let's hope it runs during a stream. I'm curious if it's because it doesn't. Pretty interesting. Yeah, there's like 100 FPS on Fortnite on low settings and performance. I cracked the passwords because I was tired of waiting. Okay, so we got it loading up here. There we go. Okay, give it a shot again. Let's hope it works this time. Yeah, that's true. Hidden Bull brings up a good point that if you have some sort of memory issues, that it will certainly let you know this. There's 1,000 games on Steam that PC will run. That is true, Weenie. Basically, I'm saying if you want a system secure, don't use Windows. Windows is definitely not the most secure system. I would like to point this out this year that hasn't been very innovative year for technology. Ultra 2 Plus, a rehashed Ryzen AI 4, and a rehashed 9950X3D2. I think it's something that they could always do, but decided not to think it's too risky. A MacBook Neo, yeah, pretty much. You're on point about that. It's like having a iPhone Pro on a trench coat. Because I'm kind of appalled that they actually brought that into the mix. Let's see. And let me add this in here. Notice this wasn't in here. There we go. Bring that down some. There we go. Perfect. It's been a great year for tech, but on the shelf side, look at the prototype innovations. Like the optical chips are amazing. Yeah, I gotta say, it's I feel in a way I feel not too bad about not going to Computex on this year, because the worst thing you can do is go to Computex, especially as far as it is, that there's nothing really new. Not the MacBook Neo. It's called the MacBook Neo Fry. You know, that one of the key features that it does have is that you can play Resident Evil Village. Let me see. Let me adjust that there. There you go. Put that up there like that. I mean, the Ryzen AI 330 is also very close to a phone chip, featuring 1 performance and 3 efficiency. Yeah. A lot of them are. They're trying to get more efficient. That's really their goal here. They're trying to gain a bit more efficiency versus actually getting more performance out of it. But they're saying that if you do want it, I think it is the 391 or something like that. They're saying the 391HX is like the better one. They did have the 395HX. So did they forget to add a disclaimer that is intended for use for -40 ambient temperature? You can flip the Neo and so has anybody actually got to check that out, the MacBook Neo, out of curiosity? 8,000. Oh, that's your speeds, right, Amir? The speeds that you're getting. That's why I'm so interested in optical chips. 100 times the computational power for the same power use. Absolutely. You know, the crazy thing is, like, they completely forget about the whole what's it called? When it comes to not nano. It'll come to me. It'll definitely come to me. I think the idea was to use your lat as the thermal mass. When you enable 200 S boost on your RAM overclock 8, yes. Yeah, exactly. That's what you have to do for sure. Yeah, it doesn't want to work on stream today. You know what? It makes me want to open up a game instead and see if for some reason it doesn't want to open up on 3D Mark on stream. I don't know why. It's weird. Let's go. Let me try something else. We have Cyberpunk. We'll just go ahead and go with the Cyberpunk since we have it already. And then we'll swap it. We'll swap it from there here. Okay. We'll see. Attempting to open up Cyberpunk now. Hey Chris, check the Windows event log to see if anything is throwing off some hints. Yeah, sure. Let me see. I can say it was working fine earlier. I just wonder if it has to do with me attempting to stream it. Let's see. Yeah, nothing that I see that's unusual. Is it that loud? Is it that loud, guys? Let me adjust that. Oh wow, it's all the way up there. I apologize for that. There you go. Oh, I apologize for that, guys. I know that was loud. Yeah, that's my fault. For some reason, OBS maxed out the sound. I have no idea why they chose to do that. Okay, now it should be better. Okay, so it seems like the automatic default settings. Oh, let me share it with you guys. All right, guys. Okay. So what we have is the ray tracing. We have ray tracing medium, which is the default setting, DLSS super resolution on. We also have the transformer model that's also enabled. And we do have automatic DLSS super resolution. Now that can be adjusted if you guys like. Frame generation is currently off and texture quality is at high. Now we can adjust any of these settings that you would like if you really want to push it. Now we can do ray tracing. We can keep everything as it is, like as default settings, to see what type of numbers that we can really pull out of it that is best. So we'll go ahead and run this test and see what type of numbers that we pull out of it. But I am, what I'm really curious about is to really try out Psycho mode to see how well it performs there. But let's try this quick preset just to get a good indication to see where the system is pretty much standing here. Did you say that machine has a 5070 Ti? If so, crank it way higher. Laugh aloud, turn everything to max but pad tracing. Yes. That's what I mean. I'm just going off the basic settings first. I see, you know what? Okay. So I agree with XD. I do really want to push it. Pad tracing should be the only thing. I agree. Let's give it a, you know what? Let's go back here. I think I'm gonna wait through this benchmark, but we're gonna give that we'll give that a shot right after it. If I can't get 3D Mark to work on a machine I'm building for a customer, I will reinstall Windows and drivers, all updates again. I won't send it till it works. The crazy thing is it did work. I actually tested it this morning to get benchmark numbers. But the crazy thing is it just didn't want to work on stream, so I wonder if that had to do something with it. You will need frame generation though. It's a single player game. That's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't bother using frame generation if it is on a obviously on a multiplayer game like Battlefield 6. Now, of course, they do have the options. Excuse me, guys. They do have the option to where you can put on frame generation on something like Battlefield 6, but the thing is, you can max out. Like you can get 150 frames. You can get like amazing frames out of Battlefield 6 with frame generation, and you could have like the worst type of hardware. But the problem is, even though it claims it's running at those type of speeds, exactly, and that's the problem. Just like what XD says, the latency will kill you in competitive. Because even though it feels like it's saying that it's like at 140, 150 frames, the latency will absolutely murder you because it still technically feels like 40 frames, if that makes sense. Because the latency is so large compared to what it's actually running. It makes the game still technically running at like 40 frames. So let's go back here. And we're going to go max out on rate. We're going to go overdrive. We're going to put it on overdrive, and we'll put frame generation, DLSS frame generation on. So do you guys agree with these settings and we'll go and run it? Or do you want to run it without any type of frame generation for now? I'm in a unique situation to test RAM. I have 9 different systems I'm building it. I have everything ranging from CL26 to CL. There you go. That's a good way to test out RAM, especially if you have some Intel systems. That it matters a whole lot. I feel, especially for them. Now on AMD, it doesn't matter as much because you have that 3D V cache if you are using the extra D. Okay, no frame generation or upscaling. So that's what you want to see. No frame generation or upscaling. So okay, so what we'll do, we'll turn it off. We'll turn off frame generation, and that's pretty much like basic settings. Now path tracing is on. Do you want this will completely obliterate the card. I already can tell you right now. If we turn on path tracing with everything off and texture quality high, you're ready for this test. Okay. I mean, you can test without, you can do frame generation in your head. Just, yeah. Takuma calls 2 frames. Okay. This is going to obliterate it right now. Okay, so this is just running practically on raw power and path tracing, which is insane. Yeah, it's looking a little bit rough as it is now, right, guys? But at least you know the card's trying, it's pushing. But I gotta say, the system's incredibly quiet, even running this. Yeah, that's bad. Now, this is the true power, right? Of the RTX 5070 Ti. The good old GB203 pushing. Yeah. Uh, no, the 270K shouldn't sweat too much on this. Hey, I'm volunteering currently. Oh, let me see. My budget will be 2,000 Canadian dollars. I'm thinking about getting RTX 5070 Ti. There's sure a lot of you out there that does want to get, if you want to get that under your budget, sure it can. The Plus Ultra Core 5 at 250K. They should rename. They really need to. Yeah, they should rename Path Tracing. Well, cooler. So the cooler is actually the Lian Li Hydro Shift 2. That's the one that we got. The Hydro Shift 2 is the one we got. We actually have the build video up. I think that's the latest video that's up there right now. So it runs at 26.13 average. If anyone is curious, I'll share it with you guys. 26.13 average here. That's the number that you get just with no frame generation, path tracing. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Hidden. They should name it Path Destroyer, really. Dear God. I know, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into settings now, and what we're gonna do is now we will turn on resolution scaling with the transformer model, and we will turn on DLSS super resolution to. We'll give it a harder test, which is DLAA. That pushes it a bit harder with the anti-aliasing and aliasing, and we'll keep frame generation off still, and we'll keep it on path tracing just to get a good indication of where it is. This is still going to run the test pretty hard. 77 degrees Celsius CPU package, while it's not working real hard, seems high. Yeah, so is it running about 77? I haven't got to take a real look at it. 77, let me see. We'll see. See, it still is struggling even with something like this. Even with the, yeah. Because that's another thing that really pushes it. There's a trick. You're gonna hate me. Use DLSS quality, but turn on DL. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. It's not even any. I know. It's a bit scary if that's the case, right? Let me see. That poor. I know we're pushing it. We are pushing it. Okay, so, do you guys really want to run the LDSR? We can. Well, right now, what we're doing is we're really doing an unnecessary test to it. Most people aren't going to be running these type of settings on there. This is just really stress testing it more than anything. But no errors happen. So your Netflix, your monitor goes black and the display driver crashes, but no errors in the event window occurs. And that's only on Netflix? Because that's not really gonna that's not really it sounds like Netflix itself more than anything. And what's your specifications? Yes. We got an improvement there. We got a slight improvement there. Okay. Let me see. So, let me turn this off, guys, so you guys can see. So 26.23. Yeah, all I know, there's room to upgrade. Yes. Oh, absolutely. There's always room to upgrade. Like, there's always more room to upgrade if you guys want to upgrade even more. Okay, so now let's turn it on something a bit more friendly here. We'll leave it on to. We'll put balance. We'll try balanced out super resolution transformer model. And now we can try the turn on frame generation, which is DLSS frame generation. And let's apply these settings. And this is with path tracing on still. So let's give this a shot. I bet it's going to run a whole lot better if that's the case. You may need to disable hardware acceleration in your browser setting if it just turns black for a couple of seconds. Is it the but is it the application he might be running too, right? There we go. So that's a bit better. You're getting about like 52, 53 frames with path tracing. A bit more smooth. So a little bit more adjustments can be made to make it run even better. We used to have Netflix and watch it on the TV, and just about every day we had to unplug the TV from the wall and reset the whole thing. And yes, everything was up to date. Tried it on Brave, Firefox, and Chrome, same exact issues. Oh, so it is the browser. So it actually is the browser you're opening it in. Okay, so you have a 285K, two RTX 2s. So all your so everything has this same issues here. Let me adjust this, guys, real quick. Hang on, guys. Let me just try to adjust this so you guys can see this a bit better here. There we go. There you go, guys. Okay, so no more Netflix. In the old days, the DLSS and the frame rate was any good. Now, if I turn on regular ray tracing, it should have no issues going through it. Now, of course, we can go on performance mode. Now, you have decent specifications for your PC for sure. And it's specifically only Netflix. What you have to do, it may not be the actual graphics itself, but it can just be the cache. Sometimes the cache will do that to your browser. Just clearing out the cache, delete everything out, and see how well it does. And it does this on every browser. It has to, so it has to be something to do along the lines with that. I had the same issue. That's how I know this. Oh, the hardware. So you think it's the hardware acceleration for sure. That's on his system. Okay, so what we'll do now, if you really want to run path tracing on this, you probably have to run it on performance mode. Now, of course, if you want to keep everything high, setting-wise, let's, out of curiosity, this would probably be the more comfortable way to play it. But for the 270K plus, it seems like it's doing well so far. I'm just thinking, guys, about the cooler, the AIO. And I'm seeing the numbers that it's pulling. So the pump is pushing about, roughly about 2,900. And the fans, they're not really pushing too hard. It's still like running on silent. So I could always change that profile on the fans too, if you are concerned about the temps at all. And the temps are running about 56, 59, 62. So they're holding off pretty well for the most part, even though it's running silent. So this would definitely be the more comfortable setting to play, if you want to play with path tracing. Netflix has a digital signature where the date and time is needed to be accurate. Check the time on your TV. So we got 6717 out of that. So that's actually much better performance if you run it in that scale. Okay, so I'm going to try this. We're going to go and run it as only ray tracing. We'll turn off path tracing, run on ray tracing on, and you'll see the big difference between the two. Now, if we run it on more of, once again, DLAA with regular ray tracing, it'll be quite a different test here. The only show that I respect from Netflix was Peaky Blinders, but that has to do with the brilliance of actors. I've been using OpenAI to troubleshoot, so at this point, I think it's more trouble to fix that. It's more trouble to fix that live with than to live with, I would assume. So it's getting better. Again, this is everything pretty much like maxed out here, but still a bit sketchy. Still running like roughly about like 36 frames. And that's the 36 frames with DLAA. Have you installed Intel APO in... no, I have not. I don't think so. Okay, let's try this. And what I will do next. Now, this is running just specifically on DLAA. Now, if you're running it on DLSS, it's going to be a lot different. So if you run it on quality, or say balanced, again, these are all high settings that I have. I have ray trace lighting as ultra. So let's try it again here. Lightning strike here. Something got... Oh. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Have I? No, right now I'm just running different benchmarks. Just running different benchmarks, not running it for the best possible scenario, but just trying to see what type of numbers that we can really pull out of it with the 5070 Ti. In your PC, you're brave. So if you're using Auto HD in Windows, you can cause it to switch from SDR to HDR content, which is something that is true. But it depends on your monitor too. Like if your monitor allows you to have HDR. When it's like that, I jump from my PC from wall and unplug. I think, oh wow, it's a good thing your PC was already off. Good. Once again, good to have battery backup systems when something like this does happen. Oh, I'll be right back, guys. Apologize. But there we go. Okay, so that number about 66.9. A surge protector. Yeah, battery like getting APC is a bit better if that's the case for your system. Well, I'm running on the phone's internet connection. Oh wow. There's actually a shortcut for that for HDR. You hit Windows. I think it's Windows Alt B. You hit the Windows Alt B, and that will actually take you there. That's the shortcut that allows it to be like pretty much on and off. Or you can just go into you could actually type in even the search bar HDR, and it'll have HDR settings. An actual surge protector, not a power. Yes, exactly, exactly. XD. That's what you need, an actual surge protector. Now, like if we're truly trying to run for the best possible scenario, remember this whole time frame generation wasn't technically on. So to turn it on, let's see. We got shadows. Where's it at? Ground, field view, aberration. Let me go back up here. You know what it is? The one thing that I forget about this thing that sometimes it's best to restart it to actually for the best possible setting. So say we set it to ray tracing ultra. Now what the settings are for this is DLSS super resolution. Transformer model, you have this set on auto, so this is going to automatically find the best setting. And this leaves it on DLSS frame generation and high texture quality. So let me run it again. And actually, after running the test, I'm a bit curious because the thing about Cyberpunk at times, you have to actually restart the game to actually get the proper settings actually to kick in, which we'll find out as soon as this test is finished. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we will see. Well, Game Bar popped up saying the monitor doesn't support it. Yeah, so I kind of figured that wouldn't be the case. But it's a good idea. I'm glad XD brought up that idea. It is always a real possibility. So again, if you guys can hear like how quiet this PC, it's really amazing. You don't hear it running at all. So right now, Liam Lee's kind of pretty much running on silent mode. Fans are the most it jumps up to is about 57 to 60. I hit 70. It's weird. It'll spike up to 70 for a second and then it'll just drop down. It's as easy as, yes, it is quiet. Honestly, it doesn't bother me that much. I'm just at the point if I'm wondering if there could be more that can be done to fix it. Always possible. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's why I keep spiking up. Let me adjust the. As speaking of which, I'm just curious. Let me just go into Leanly here. And what I will do is I'll change the profile over. All right, so I sent it to the high fan settings, and let's see how much of a difference in temps it does. So the one key factor I notice here, where's it at? Frame generation. You notice how on the right side of the screen, I want to show you guys this. This whole time, as I suspected, if you look here on OBS, oh, I gotta drag it over for you guys to see it. But if you look over here, it won't let me. Frame generation is technically not on. So that means, you know what that means? That means we have to adjust for it. Let me see. So let me go here. Bring this down some. So okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset the game and then rerun it. The only thing I haven't tried was connecting the monitor to the display port instead of HDMI port, and that's because I want to buy another monitor just to test it. I threw my smartphone here away by accident. Oh, really? That's funny. So it pretty much hit, it's probably like a transformer, right? Like around your area? That's pretty wild. Okay. So now we will have actual frame generation with DLSS. It's going to run completely different. It's kind of annoying when that happens. Yeah, that's what I figured. It probably hit a transformer, right? I would think. I don't mean the GPU transformer. I mean transformer. I meant the actual, like, electrical transformer. I'm picturing a reaction to the trick. It scared me. And look how much of a difference that is. Because I knew something was off there. And we also are running the fan profile on a much higher setting. So now it's not running nearly as hot. Greatest trick of all time. The scare maze. There you go, guys. Right there. Perfect. Now, I gotta work on trying to get this set correctly here. There we go. Let me unlock that so you guys can see it here. Now we actually have frame generation on. That's why I wanted to show you guys there, as you can see. And that was the biggest issue that we had. Your 1% lows are bad. You have the crappy Windows security up. More than likely. Because it probably updated when I was away from it. But then again, it's I have to take a look at that. Definitely have to look at that. And this is old. I do also have another display one here too, like an older display. So let's go ahead. What we'll do is we're going to try this again. And this time we'll try it with patch tracing. I'm sure it's going to run completely different now. There we go. And let's take a look at the numbers here and see what type of numbers that we get on path tracing now with frame generation. 150 frames with 41% lows is some bad jitter. Yeah. Let me take a look here. FPS 1%. Yes. There is something that I do want to take a look into this, actually. I think specifically it's the one setting here. And it could be, you know what it could also be? It could be also from the type of RAM. Yeah, it doesn't seem right. I don't know why it's saying 4,514 frames. Yeah, it's a bit interesting. 177. Yeah. I think so too. I think something's up with the settings for sure on that. That I'm gonna have to double check on. But I'll mess with that later. I don't want to bore you with trying to troubleshoot what's going on right now. But I'll definitely take a look at that. But we know for sure that we're getting better temperatures out of it now. But what I'm really curious to see is like how much of a performance difference. Yeah, big difference though. 177 makes a lot more sense. I knew there was something odd going on when it came to the whole issue of checking out seeing how low it was. It didn't seem right. Because Cyberpunk's like that. It doesn't let you know to restart the game in order for some of these settings to take effect. And some of these settings you have to restart the game. Like if you turn on or off frame generation, and this is like with any of the games, if you ever notice it, that's what'll end up you'll end up having to do. If you enable DLSS on your on that game, you have to usually do that. But it's definitely quite the improvement over from what we were seeing. This makes a lot more sense. I would expect it to struggle a bit more on something like a 4K type of resolution, but this is more of a this is obviously more of a uh, settings issue here, which I'll end up looking at in a bit. Another thing is, let's see. Now, as this makes more sense here, now another thing that we can take a look at here is the whole new application, as one would bring it over here in the graphics settings. So now if we go to the global settings, yes, we are at 4 times frame generation right now. So that could possibly be one of the reasons that automatically set it to that. If you're at 4 times, 1% lows are showing the raw frames, not being generated. It's possible. That is a good point too. There's another thing that I do want to bring up here. If you guys want me to bring up the DLDSR, I could do that too. If you guys are curious about that, we just have to go over to the here. I'll show you global settings, and we'll turn it. What do you say? Do you want to run it like at 225 or something? If you guys want to run that, I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at so you guys don't know what I'm talking about here. Let's see. I'm going to open up another screen here. I'm going to switch this over to NVIDIA's app. Oh, you can't see it. That kind of sucks. Oh, I should have, now that messed it up now. There we go. Hardware info. Great. There we go. Okay, apparently NVIDIA won't let me share it, but we have DL scaling where we can run it at either 1.78 or we can run it at 2.25. Can you run super resolution preset off and DLSS quality on quality? I can do that. No, it's okay. Let you do upscaling instead of DLA and you can do 225. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll do 225. There we go. Okay. So we're changing that, and Takuma would like to see super resolution preset off. That cannot be done. Oh, they have the neural network already. Transformer model. Okay. So you want and DLS quality on quality. Okay. We can do that, but unfortunately we cannot. We can't turn off the preset, obviously, like when it comes to it. We could either go transformer model or we can use the neural model. I'm surprised they actually have that option now. That's their newer option. The convolutional less ghosting and improved anti-aliasing compared to the DLSS. Yeah, the transformer model will be the better one to go with. So the other option, what we can do here is we can actually, how about we turn off frame generation? Well, if we do this, it's not gonna run very good, I think. We're going to have it on and we'll run it at probably 2 times. And we'll apply it, but we're gonna restart the game if we do this. How's that sound? Do you guys want to do something like this? We could run it like this to see how it runs. That way we get less latency. If that's the case. That would probably be the better way to do it. Okay. So we're going to restart the game real quick just to make sure that we have it right. We'll see how it runs. Let's see. There it is. Let's see how it runs now. Really curious. Oh, I just realized the overlay's gone. Let me make sure it's up. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go back into the settings and we'll run it. Just to confirm, we have DLSS super resolution, transformer model quality, DLSS frame generation 2 times, and we got texture quality high. And we also do have the DLDSR on it. So let's run it. Let's see what type of numbers that we pull. Now here it's pretty respectable. So far respectable. Hopefully you guys can, I have to move it on OBS, don't I? So right now it's running between 82. I want to move it for you guys too, but I know it's on. I got to move it over on OBS, but it's running between 84 to 86, 92, 90. So it's running much more steady, about 89 now. 92. Okay, so respectable numbers. Really not too bad. Wow, look at 99%. Yeah, the frame generation really throws off the 99%. Timing here. I gotta double check those settings, man. That looks off. But at least the FPS is on point. So it's running about, average about 86.27 frames. And a maximum of 94 frames. The minimum frames is saying 78. I think, you know what I think that is? Like when it comes to, it must be counting the number of frames. That's what the FPS 99% is set at. Kind of weird how it kind of jumps for that. It's so weird. But from what it looks like, it's still very formidable, and it seems like the processor's running much more cooler too. And I know like it takes a little bit of time for the pace to kind of like pretty much settle down. What's up, Squeeze? It takes a bit for the pace to kind of settle down, and the temperatures usually cool off by then. It's always like there's like this almost cooling period when it comes to it. But so far, it's been running great. Is my PC cooked? It has hardware monitor update on there. No, not necessarily. It's if you have that DLL file, if you downloaded it new, more than likely, you want to get rid of that DLL that's in there. It's like a crypto DLL. It'll look something like that. That's what I would suggest taking a look at if you did download it new. But I showed it a bit earlier. If you want to test processor cooler, run Intel Extreme Tuning. Yeah, that's true. You know, I was using like Cinebench and everything just to get a good indication, because Cinebench is really good for that too. But I can run that Intel Extreme Tuning just to get a good indication. But if you want to get a good idea of like how it's running here, let's see. Let's go into. I have the new one, R26 here. And we can run multiple threads here. And let me see. Hopefully you guys can see it. We'll run this test. There you go. Oh, wait. I gotta switch it over. There you go. So you guys can check it out. Second time this month, first beam, though, then the hardware monitor gets hacked. Yeah, it's pretty wild, right? All the hack, all these hacks that's happened. This will pretty much stress test the CPU itself. Let me see. This will definitely stress test the CPU itself here. I used hardware info. It didn't. Hardware and yeah, it's as long as if you didn't download that large zip file. If you update it, you'll be okay. It'll definitely be much better if you update it. We'll run this test, see how it runs. I like the cooling Intel utility because it just burns it hard and only takes a few seconds. Really? This has about 8 minutes left. So far, it's been running pretty impressive, though, if you take a look at the numbers here. It should be on there. Let me see. What's it showing? It's showing right there. 4 attempts. Let me adjust it for you guys so you guys can see it a bit better here on your end. There you go. How's that? I know on the mobile side it probably looks a bit crazy, but I'll do it like this. And I'll adjust it on this screen here. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. There we go. You can hear the fans kicking in. But temperature wise, it's been holding up really good as it's pushing 70 degrees. And this is really actually pushing out the processor a ton. So if you're curious about how the 270K plus performance, it actually runs really well. I use hardware info for my cooling monitor. Oh, nice. I use usually I use HW Info 64 usually is my go-to, as you see. So right now it's bypassed. Still, this time it falls a little bit behind the 285K slightly. Last time I was pushing this, it was pushing at least a bit higher, over at the 270, the 285. Yes, that's exactly. Yep, that I definitely like this more. I agree with what XC uses. Definitely one of my more favorite ones to use for sure. Let me shrink this down so you guys can see it better on the mobile side there. Hopefully it didn't get too small. I'm trying to get you guys to see both at least. Hopefully that's good. Now you can hear the fans pretty much like ramping up, but as you can see, it manages to stay pretty decently cool for the most part. Last time I saw you do this test, it showed what it beat at the end. Yes, this will do the same. This will pretty much do the same thing. And you know what's? It makes me wonder. Like I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run this test without OBS and to see if it runs even better. Out of curiosity, if it has any effect on the test. Because sometimes little things like streaming can certainly take an effect. On modern CPU and GPUs, generally anything below 80 Celsius is good for a long. I agree. On average, it seems like it gets like at 70 at the like high point, and that's it. It doesn't really go beyond that point. It makes you really curious to see what Intel has in store when it comes to Nova Lake. And and I wonder what AMD's V-Cache CPU can really push out. Yeah, usually a lot of the what CPU processor do you have again, Squeeze? And now it's like at the max. Yeah, holding really well. And how do you guys think about that whole situation? I don't know if you guys got to see that post or not, but Sam Altman, he had his somebody threw a flaming Molotov at him. Actually threw a flaming Molotov. Yes, the one from Resident Evil Requiem. That same flaming Molotov at him when he was trying to enter his house. And I was like, man, somebody's really pissed about the RAM and SSD pricing right now. What do you guys think of that? Isn't that crazy? Somebody tried to get him with a flaming Molotov. Oh, there you go. My CPU, my CPU barely blinks on most games. Uses 6% on. Oh yeah, I can see that. I can't wait to download Crimson Desert. I definitely will give it a chance this weekend. I'm definitely gonna download it. I heard it's a great type of game to definitely stream. So. Oh yeah, but I'm sure it's easy. It's easy to make for sure, but why would you do it and throw it at someone? And we got like we got a minute 30 seconds left. Yes, yes, they had missed. The guy's not in the hospital. He would definitely be at the hospital if they hit him. Oh man, it's great. There's so much in it. Heck, one part of it, the sky puzzles could be $50. Oh, really? That's wild. You know, the crazy thing is I hear so many mixed things about it. Like there's people that love it and they hate it at the same time. I hear people feel like it feels like you're playing another game, like it feels similar to other games, but also it's good. It's great at the same time because of that. Like people say it's like feels like Zelda, it feels like a bit of pretty much a bit of everything, like a good concoction of everything here. So we're getting about so far it still falls right now it's falling under the 280 85K during this test. And this is running a full 10-minute test to see how it runs. But so far, it seems pretty steady. It's janky, but so were all the great Skyrim was poor. Yeah, that's true. I heard it got so much better after the update. Really, I heard it improved since then. So the score we have. Just got to finish rendering here. I guess it's waiting for the final render, which is almost done. Let's see. 2 more pieces. Oh, yeah. There we go. It's almost done rendering, guys. Once it finishes rendering, we'll get our score. Oh, really? So it feels like a bit like Assassin's Creed a bit. So does it beat out the 285? And it does. We got a score of 9,158, and it looks like it surpasses the 285K. Just by a bit. And it's almost, it runs pretty close to the Apple M3 Ultra, which is impressive. So definitely a very decent GPU. I mean, not GPU, different, it's a very good CPU, considering that it's that close to a M3 Ultra CPU wise. I put 175 hours into it, and I'm maybe halfway through. Wow, that's awesome. That's insane. So, fam, guys, I want to thank everybody that has joined this wonderful stream here. Oh, thank you for joining in. Weenie, I really appreciate you being a hardcore techie. Definitely appreciate you. And I just right when I was just about to go, I gotta get some brunch here. Starving, guys. So, fam, guys, I definitely appreciate everyone that has come in to this wonderful live stream. And as soon as I start live streaming once again, I'll let you guys know. And also if you are part of the wonderful round, yeah, I'm a hardcore techie. Yes, yeah, I saw it. Thank you. Make sure to join in. I think you are in our Discord too, right, Weenie? Join in on our roundtable. If you're in our Discord, make sure you let us know into the Discord, and I'll make sure to throw you in there. But also, thank you guys all for coming in, for watching. I do appreciate you. Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, no. Yeah, make sure you do. Join in. Join in on our Discord if you guys haven't already. It's pretty much free for everybody. If you are a member, you will have another server option, which is called for the roundtable. So make sure to join in, and I'll see you over there. So thank you guys so much for joining in to this wonderful live stream once again. And make sure you guys have an awesome weekend.